She left. On my iPad. You, can you get into it? Yeah. Oh, good. I don't have one. I don't want one. Okay, well, we will call this meeting to order and we will stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't think that there's anyone to share to talk.
Okay, well, let's go into some announcements. We have our all staff in service on the morning of August 26th. So we're gonna start out at the elementary school and with breakfast and have the reports by each group on the data that's found in our strategic plan. And then we've got the guest speaker. You have a flyer on who the guest speaker is. We distributed this today during our food share out of the parking lot, hoping parents will show up. Love the idea that the same message we're bringing to staff, we're bringing to community, the importance of connection, attendance, talking with the adults that are supposed to be advocating for you. And then we are going to adjourn and take off to the walking path where staff will get their goodies. For those who are not able to, we will have the bags available at the end site, which is at the middle school gym.
Is there like different spots where they get to pick up something?
Yeah, they have a swag bag. So we got a lot of stuff donated, but we also had a mini grant from it's OEBB, the wellness for one of those organizations. So we've got like a water bottle and fun stuff. Yeah. And then we have a vendor fair and the lunch, and then they're free to do their own thing. So we're excited for that. It's going to be a hot one. Yeah. And like I said, the community presentation is the 25th. If you can come to either or both, you're more than welcome. And let's see, the September 10th, that's a Wednesday. We had a groundbreaking ceremony for Jervis Middle School. So I know that last year board had designated Henry and Maria to be going to the bond advisory committee meetings. During your board focus, you might want to talk about that and see if you want to change it up or keep it the same or whatever. But regardless, everybody can come to the groundbreaking. It's not considered a quorum because you're just there for an event. And like I said, it'll be at 5:30. We'll have golden shovels, hard hats, kids, staff, and then we'll have our bond advisory committee after that. And then September 12th, we have a ribbon cutting ceremony for the turf fields. And I don't exactly have the logistics worked out on that yet with the 80, but that is our first home football game. So right before kickoff, we'll do a groundbreaking, and any board member would like to give a little comments at either one of those events, that would be fabulous. So you could talk about that during board focus too.
Wonderful.
That's all I have in the way of announcements.
Okay, so let's go on to the approval of our minutes. Did anybody have anything but?
I did actually read them, but no, I do not have anything.
No, so I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approves the minutes from June 18th, 2025 budget hearing and regular session minutes, and from the July 10th, 2025 regular session minutes.
Perfect. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Yes, so we don't have, well, we have one person online, so I don't think she wants to give public comment because it's Dora, so. No student council, because they're not back yet. The administrators just got back to work, so they don't have much to report. They're trying to dig themselves out of July's emails. So we've got Dr. Helms here to talk to us about summer school and anything else that you might want to know.
Yay.
One administrator did not just get back.
Energizer bunny that just keeps going and going and going.
Dr. Helms did a half
Ironman.
Ironman this summer.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Did you make it?
I did.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my goal was 5.5 hours. And I did the 1.2 mile swim in 21.5 minutes. I crushed that. I did the 56 mile bike in about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So swim, bike, like doing great.
Yeah.
Got 8 miles into the 13-mile run, and like I just realized I hadn't fueled myself very well prior to it, and I could just feel every ounce of energy just like leave my feet, just right into the ground. And so I had to finish the last 5 miles at a pace. I ended up like 5 hours 45 minutes, 5:50. So I was close to 5:30, but it was still good.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's fun.
Very nice.
That was your first one, right?
No,
Oh, that-
no. I've done a full Ironman before.
Oh.
But that was all like a lifetime ago. And then I stress ate myself at the elementary school for 5 years. And now I'm getting back into it. So,
Good for you.
yeah.
It is a hazard of being an administrator.
You know.
Stress eat yourself into.
Charlene, for every wonderful thing she did for me, she also fed me. I always forget my lunch, and she'd be like, "Hey, do you?" And I was like, "Nope, I forgot my lunch." She's like, "Well, here's this." Always something that probably shouldn't happen. Get me going.
There you go.
Yeah, so we had a really successful summer school. Put a recap in the board packet. It was kind of from a total numbers perspective, it was a little scaled down from previous years. And it was also just kind of logistically a little bit different because we couldn't put everybody in the elementary school. We had to navigate the bond work over the summer. So we had pre-K in their classrooms. We had kindergarten through 4th grade and the K2 modular over there. We had high school in the 8th grade modular, and then we had middle school in the middle school main building, and lots of pieces that we're moving that we traditionally don't do. But for all intents and purposes, it was quiet from like a behavior perspective. From a regular attender perspective, it was probably the best attendance rate we've had in 4, 5, 6 years for summer school. Especially at the middle school level. Traditionally at middle school, you would have the most number of them show up for the first several days and then be like, "Oh yeah, this is school and it's summer and I don't want to do this," and they stop coming. This year I empowered Mary Barfneck, who's the ELD teacher at the high school. It's fantastic. I was like, "You're going to be in middle school," and she's administrative credential prior to coming back to the classroom with us. And I was like, "You know what you're doing and I trust you. So I want you to just take the middle school and run with that staff and come up with ideas." And they had fantastic attendance. I think of the 60 middle schoolers, something like 25 of them either had perfect attendance or only missed one day for the whole program. I mean, it was awesome.
Becky said she worked with the most one. She
Yeah.
loved it. It was great.
Yeah. It was really good. And then the numbers, the pre-assessment, post-assessment, again, like, we invited for the elementary and middle school group, it was students that were typically like well behind grade level because we're using summer school to try and catch them up to the best of our ability. And I would say somewhere between 75%, 80% of them actually had pretty notable growth from their pre-assessment to their post-assessment across 4 weeks. So it was a really good summer program. Really happy with how it turned out. And then we're still eligible for the same amount of funds, if not a little bit more, for next summer from ODE. We're just going to figure out what that might look like because of the amount of construction that's going to be happening district-wide. I'm going to play with a lot of ideas with maybe some hybrid summer school, some online summer school. Might be able to find a space away from Jervis School District that we might be able to use for credit recovery and stuff like that, because we don't want to shut that down. So I fully hope and anticipate we're going to run summer school again next year. It just might look uniquely different for one summer. But it was good nonetheless.
Do we still bus kids during summer school?
We do,
Okay.
yeah, we do. And we get reimbursed for it. I believe at roughly the same rate we do during the regular school year.
So it wouldn't necessarily be a huge challenge then to bus them to a different location if there was one available?
I think as long as it was reasonably close, so we're not, the miles and the gas and that kind of stuff aren't extending out. But it's as long as it was reasonably close, it's a nominal change or difference for cost, things like that. And then we'd have to factor in what that would look like for food and Melinda's staff if they're preparing meals and we had to move those meals off site and stuff like that. So unless we just wanted to do Panera every time.
I was just thinking of the
If you-
private school up in Brooks. Cause they come
Yeah.
and use the track for
Mhm.
sports and stuff. I wonder if they would maybe
Perhaps.
something.
So we'll take a look at it. So that's summer school. Last time I was in front of you, I kind of introduced to you this idea of these time kettles. These are the earpieces that do real-time interpretation. And so a user wears these and it connects to an app on a device. And then the device's microphone picks up the speaker, and then in real time in something around 40 languages or something like that, will with about a 2-second initial lag, do interpretation that's around 95% pretty accurate. And so we are gearing these up for the school year. We have around 24 of these devices. But I'm sharing this with you, because this Monday, when we have our parent information night, and then Tuesday with in-service with some of our staff members that prefer language in Spanish as opposed to English, a number of our members of the custodial department and food services department, we're going to trial these with adults as well. And so on Monday, when parents come in, you can hook up 3 different devices to a single tablet. And so that's 15 devices across the 5 iPads that we're going to have available to us. But if you have a couple that comes in, you really only need to wear one of these earpieces. So one person can wear this and the other person can wear this. So theoretically, we can have up to about 30 of these devices out there if we need to. We're going to just see how it goes. And so we're going to have a table set up in front of the speaker, and we're going to have the 5 iPads right there with the microphone facing him. And we're going to check these out, or check these to the people when they come in, and if they would prefer, we're going to give it a try, and works out great. Awesome. And if it doesn't, we're going to try to figure out why it didn't work out great and go from there. So
So now, like, if
Yeah.
they were to ask a question, it just picks it up and then translates it.
it's good. Yeah. Yeah. So you can set up these devices for 2-way communication if you want to. But it kind of limits the number of devices or number of time kettles you can use per device if you do that. To maximize the number of time kettles we can put out there, it's just a one-way interpretation process. So essentially, if somebody in the crowd asks a question, it would pick it up and translate it into Spanish or Russian or whatever language we've got to set it up for. And then as he answers it, presumably in English, it would translate it or interpret it right into Spanish again, right into their headset. So yeah, pretty neat. And then once we get these with students during the school year, they'll also be paired with the Pocket Talk devices, which we have, which are those credit card size things that we have out there. We've got several dozen of them. And those are the ones that really enable 2-way communication. So you push the button, say something in English, it says it in Spanish, and then you hand it to the person, they push the button, say it in Spanish, says it back in English, and they can just go back and forth. That does for about 2 years now, and it's working pretty well.
Nice.
The middle schoolers that don't drop them, they work out pretty well. That's a whole nother.
Bubble rapid.
Yeah. This week's been a really busy week for our SPED department. So on Monday, myself and 4 SPED team members, we went up to Wilsonville High School. They had, for their SPED department, which is obviously Wilsonville is considerably larger than ours. They brought in Dr. Shelley Moore. She's an internationally renowned speaker and author on inclusive education. And the SPED director for Wilsonville reached out to some of her folks that she works with and those that are in the immediate area and said, we're probably gonna have some extra seats. If you want to come up with your team, come on up, free of charge. You can listen in. And it was fantastic. And we walked away and we were really challenged. And so one of the things that she said in front of the audience, which I'm flipping and putting in front of the staff for my back to school in-service letter, was a really reflective question that was something along the lines of, how many of you have become really proficient in a practice that you don't believe in anymore? And the idea is like just putting packets out there for kids to do, because it's efficient and it saves time and you can do grading while it's happening, but you know in the back of your mind that that's not the best thing for kids. Or the teacher in front of the classroom spending 70% of the class time talking and only 30% is the kids talking. Like, that's an easy way to prepare a lesson. In the back of your mind, you know that's not the best. That's not going to move the needle. So my back to school in service letter is proposing that question to our staff and asking them to be really reflective, really with a lens of special education and ELD, that it's like, what are we doing that might feel comfortable and easy from an adult perspective, but we know might not be the most effective or efficient way for students to be learning. And let's consider that as perhaps something we need to reflect on. And then in that letter, I give a lot of, ideas that kind of generate thoughts on their end on what that may look like. And so that was on Monday. On Tuesday, I had staff involved in something called School Moves, and it's S''K''COOL, like S cool, School Moves. And I had a number of staff participating in that, and it's basically like students that need to be able to get up and move during a class period or whatever, like having them use their own pressure points and different types of activities to really just kind of help them calm themselves down and recenter themselves, breathing techniques and things like that. So staff members in our FLCs and our learning resource centers and our behavior room, like they attended that. And then yesterday and today, we put about 30 staff members through MANT training, which is the training that you need for de-escalation. And then if there ever is a situation in which you have to put your hands on a child for safety reasons, it's the state approved training in order for you to do everything you can to keep yourself safe, keep the child safe, and keep the school safe from, liability reasons and things like that. So for about 30 people through that. If we did not have in-house trainers, that is $10,000 worth of training. But we have 2 staff members that are MANT trainers. And so we set a pay for people's extra duty time to come in and do it. So it's fantastic. Yeah. ELD, one of the things that I felt like over the last couple of years, with all of the different things going on, sometimes it feels like I'm an inch deep and a mile wide. And what I really kind of reflected on this summer is like, what have I sacrificed that I don't want to sacrifice anymore? And I felt like what came to me was the amount of time that I'm in classrooms. I feel like I'm just not in classrooms anymore. And there's always something that comes up that's like, why I can't make it in classrooms today or something like that. So sharing with you what I'm going to do this year. So I got these 2 jars. And I have a spreadsheet that has every licensed teacher in K through 12, and it's just alphabetical, and next to their name is a number. Number 5, Poff, number 12, Tiffany Fast, or whatever. And then one of my professional practice goals that went to Danny last week is that I want to be in every single classroom at a minimum of 3 times this year. Every classroom in the district 3 times for the year. And the way that I'm going to hold myself accountable is that every day I go in and I just randomly pull a token. And that token is 16. And then I look on my spreadsheet and 16 is Mulcairn at the middle school. I go to Mulcairn's. And then when this is fully exhausted, just start over. And my goal is to get through these jars 3 times in a year.
Hopefully they're not half filled and then they get mixed.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then when I'm in their classrooms, I have these custom sheets that I'm going to leave my thoughts on specific to ELD. And it says at the top, everyone is a language teacher. We will intentionally support academic language across content areas, differentiate with language in mind, and believe that multilingual learners can achieve at the highest of levels. And then I'm just going to put my thoughts on what I see, strengths, questions, things like that. And at the bottom, thanks for letting me spend time in your classroom. Please email me if you have any questions or you want to chat about my visit. And so I make the visit there, I leave this on their desk, walk away, and I've got enough of these to get through all 3 classrooms, for all classrooms 3 times a year for a whole year. And that's what I'm gonna do. So that's how I'm gonna hold myself accountable. And then at in-service week, I have these sticky notes, which are gonna go out on all the tables for people to just take with them. And I've got plenty to give them out throughout the whole year. In my board packet, what I'm gonna present to the staff on in-service Tuesday is my main goal for ELD is Proeza, which is a Spanish word that means something big and bold and great in undertaking and big in achievement. And I'm gonna push that word to the staff all year long. Because my big goal for this coming year is not that the elementary school has a 3 times or greater ELPA proficiency average than the state, but the district has a 3 time, and that's not the district, but it's also all 3 schools. So I don't want the elementary school to carry the other schools or the high school to carry the other schools and still have an average proficiency passing rate for the district that's 3 times the state. I want all 3 schools to have a proficiency rate that is 3 times the state average. And so that's what this big achievable, but massive undertaking of a goal is going to be. And I'm going to push this every visit that I do, push this word. It's a unique word. It's one I didn't know until I started trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But that's what I'm going to do with ELD. 2 more things real quick. Nursing. Courtney is putting together HMP's health medical plans for all the students that have them. This year, we're going to do something kind of unique. I bought her red folders, which are kind of unique for the teachers. Yellow folders are IEPs, green folders, I think, are tagged, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do red folders, and she's putting every teacher in the district that will have a student in their classroom on an HMP, they're going to get a red folder. And inside of that red folder is going to be, you have Johnny. Johnny's got XYZ that you need to be aware of. And if it's something sensitive enough that we can't put in the folder that's in a classroom, it will say, see Courtney, or something like that. And so she's going to be distributing red folders with HMP information to all the teachers that need one, just so they are very much aware that, and it may be cold weather induced asthma. Okay. We just need to know that in the winter, if the student is playing outside and they are short of breath, like, you just got to get them inside. Or it may be something more significant than that. And then the last thing I wanted to show you, which is really, really cool.
That many tricks there.
I brought props.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my kids in here. Did you want to say hi? Yeah.
All too.
Is this device right here? This is about the size of a credit card. It's actually inside of some carrying case right now. This is called a Plaud, Plaud, a Plaud note. And what's pretty fantastic about this is that it's got a little button up here, and you press the button and you set it down, and it records, just straight up records anything that's being heard, but it has an AI interface. And so as it's recording, it would pick up speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, speaker 4, anybody that it picks up that's got a different voice, it would pick up them and differentiate what it's recording. And then you could take the recording as just a raw file, and it can send it to ChatGPT and summarize it in bullet points. And so we'll obviously, like, we're gonna disclose at like IEP meetings and things like that, like this meeting's being recorded. And we will offer up to you the raw recording transcript, PLAUD. And we will, if you want the raw transcript as well, and it's just going to go right to a storage file on the cloud, so it's not going to cost us anything. We don't have to print them out or anything. If we ever get into a situation like in an IEP meeting where it's like, hey, you said that. No, we said this. It will very easily just be able to go to that and say, nope, this is what was said. Let's get back on the same page. But for any other kind of meetings, you can just go right to ChatGPT and say, here was a 45-minute meeting, summarize the top 10 points and give it to me. Or as we're going to try to trial this, principals and admin can go into classrooms for their observations with obviously consent and all that kind of stuff, and it's aware, but like recording and then be able to just capture what it was and then turn around and use some of those notes for what might go into evaluations and things like that, so that they can spend a lot more time focusing on what's going on in the classroom as opposed to sitting there typing and just trying to grab everything verbatim from what the teacher's saying. They can watch the kids, they can watch the teacher, they can watch the pedagogy, they can do those kind of things. And then they don't have to worry about just feverishly typing everything that's being said, because it's just going to get captured here. And then they give the raw transcript to the teacher if they want to, if there's a conflict over, the principal said, hey, you were talking 70% of the time. And the teacher's like, I was talking 30% of the time. And it's like, well, it's pretty easy to shine a light on that.
Do you see any conflicts with that?
With staff?
I don't think so. I mean, I became aware of it, when Oregon Small Business Association posts this all the time. And so I asked Craig to buy that to see how it would work. I mean, I don't, in my mind, I would say it's more reliable than you, depending on my typing,
Right, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
I
type
have it,
enough
yeah.
people are going on in class, right? And,
There's-
and so, it falls right in line with Daniel's and active feedback and accurate feedback.
How much?
It's, so the device itself is like 125.
Oh, wow.
And then it's got a free package to it, but it's limited the number of times you can like go to ChatGPT and stuff like that. I think there's a plan for like 15 a month that like would be essentially unlimited use and stuff like that. So I'm gonna play around with the free feature for a little bit and just see what that looks like. And we need
Get it
to,
on like Amazon, right?
yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, get them off Amazon or their
The question would be,
site.
kid bringing that into a classroom, is that gonna be a problem?
I mean, I would be surprised if I mean,
Hundred
I am-
twenty bucks.
yeah, I am constantly surprised that.
It's not $100, it's not $1,000. So
No.
It's relatively inexpensive.
It
Is that
is.
gonna be an issue?
You know,
I don't think it is because they used to have their phones where they.
Right, yeah, take a picture.
yeah,
And, I mean, my
I didn't
stance is
mind
if
it.
you're not comfortable being recorded, then what's going on?
Yeah, no, I don't,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
is
I mean,
that gonna be
maybe-
a problem with, because you're using the AI thing and then,
yeah.
everybody gets in trouble for using that interpretations of their, make me a story of blah, blah.
Oh, is that what you're thinking of
So-
using, like they record something and then
Record it.
it's like,
And then they put it on
Yeah,
and
yeah.
use that as their report.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I mean, I think those are, we are constantly surprised at what they're doing.
100%.
So I'm not gonna say, no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I think that as crafty and savvy as some of them are, like, I don't think I'm too concerned that they're really gonna be stretching the limits of that.
It's gonna affect grades and things.
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet, and I think we're working pretty hard at trying to
The
get
stuff
ahead
is
of it.
coming out of stuff.
Yeah, I think even the smartwatches now, you can just hit record and it will do all of that you just said.
But you just said that would put it into chat.
Yeah, and
Which I just found out this thing out.
My directions to teachers at the beginning of the year in service is gonna be like, AI is here.
Yeah.
You have to create your teaching and your assessments in such a way that that student did that work. So if that means it's on demand verbal,
Yeah.
like, then you need to be prepared for that. If
Yeah,
it
say
means
things out
it's
loud.
based on the discussion you and your partner had last week with this theme, write it right now. Like,
Yeah.
There, that's engagement. That's keeping kids on their toes and thinking critically about what am I doing? I can't just be a passive learner.
Mhm.
The other piece about this that as Creighton is working on this, I had said, so we know our administrators, like Creighton said, that the transcribing the lessons and then trying to code it. So there's a way where you can load the Danielson matrix and then upload the transcript and it will help sort
Oh.
the domains for you. I mean, obviously you have to go through and check it, like my presentation I'm going to show today, I used AI for that. And I had to go through, it read the data table wrong, so I had to go through and adjust it. But it saved me an hour and a half.
That's what it's supposed to do.
So anyway,
I mean, I had it right, everything I was gonna say tonight, so that worked out really well.
Half marathon.
Yeah, I mean, and then I'll just close with, I mean, but this idea, like my ELD teachers received an email from me last week that we're gonna use Chat GPT as a way for ELPA prep September through February. So they're gonna come up with just a very standard prompt that the students can copy and paste right into Chat GPT that says something like, generate a 7th grade question that I would find on the writing domain of the ELPA exam. And you put that in there and you hit enter, and it will generate a question that is very similar to what they're going to see. And then they can type it up, and then it gives them, and then say, give me feedback on how I did. What can I fix? Like, I mean, and like, so my EL teachers are kind of working out right now. What does that look like for 3rd, 4th, 5th graders versus 6, 7, 8 versus high school? But they're going to use that regularly as a way to sit down and say, okay, we're doing really well, but the one gap we've had in ELD over the last several years is it's really hard to prepare for the exam. Because ODE does not put out a lot of material as like, sample tests for the
Yeah.
ELPA. It just doesn't, they don't put it out there. So we're gonna use ChatGPT on a regular basis to essentially create sample tests for ourselves. And then they're just gonna answer them. And then there's also a microphone function. So you can say, generate a speaking question. And it will put it there and it will tell you what this, it'll tell you how to, what the question is. You have to answer it. And then you press the microphone button. You can speak right in your Chromebook. It will capture it and then it will give you feedback.
Nice.
And so we're gonna do that.
Why would ODE not put that stuff out?
I mean, ELPA, the ELPA 21 is not specific to Oregon, but I
It's people power,
it's,
they don't have a lot of.
yeah, it's not a big division at ODE that is really focusing on multilingual language learners and.
Sure like a lot of data though.
Mm.
They do it.
You know.
You get the kids go.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you exit kids, you lose money. And so there are other districts who don't like to exit their kids because they lose money. So I mean, I don't know what the deal, like, all I can say is we're doing our best to do right by kids. And the administrators will figure out the financial piece,
What are we doing with like
I think.
um,
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
professional development in terms of like AI for our teachers and like having them learn how to use prompts and.
We had a cadre of teachers go to an AI training last year. Kind of get your feet wet in it.
Yeah.
And then for Statewide and Service Day, we're gonna do in-house training on trauma-informed care and AI. So we're gonna continue to push that out as a area we want them to start getting
I mean,
trained.
just like getting really familiar with it and like knowing how to use the right
Yeah.
prompts to get what you
Right.
need. And then being able to, just like you said, it just saves so much
Mhm.
time, but you still need a human to go through all of it. But just getting them up to speed on
Mhm.
all of that kind of stuff because things are constantly changing
Yeah.
and upgrading. And I just want to make sure that
Yep.
we're providing resources.
Yeah,
for
we
our
are.
folks.
We're-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Good job on that marathon.
Oh,
Marathon.
yeah,
You said 5.5 hours. I was like,
that was a tough one.
I spent a much binge watching that.
And I'm
Exactly.
obviously a glutton get punished because I immediately signed up to do the Portland Marathon.
Oh, that's my word.
Early October, so I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, wow.
Good job.
Hello.
Moving right in.
I'm gonna touch on each of my report pages just very briefly. So I'll start with page 27. This was for the 24-25 fiscal year. And just looking down on the year to date, you see a big number on the income other line of 36.950 million. That has to do with the bond proceeds coming in. And then in the bottom expenses section, facilities acquisition, that 3.445 million, that amount has to do with the bond expenditures going out. So that leaves us down on the, a net addition deficit looking really great, 32.924 million. But that's a lot of bond proceeds going on there. So it's an unusual thing that we don't normally see either because we haven't had a bond. So, all right. And then the next page, page 28, this is for the 25-26 fiscal year. And in the range to date on the income state sources, you'll see that's our double payment because, and then this is more for Leah to know, but back in 24-25 and the end of each fiscal year, in June, we do not get a state school fund payment. And July, they do a catch up and send us 2 payments together. So that's a double payment there. And the next page, that's our general fund year-to-date revenue overview. And you'll just go down to I'm just looking kind of on the bottom of that. And it goes through and says general fund revenues to date for the fiscal year 2025, were 21.764 million. And expenditures were 19.058. And that leaves a general fund balance of 2.706. This figure includes the charter school fund. And at this point, when this was run, we did not yet have the final transfer for the expenditures for the turf field done. So that will go down a little bit with the charter school, you know, reducing. Then the next page. And I think, oh, and let's go back to that page and just look at to page 29. If you just look at the operating revenues, state school fund formula, and you look at fiscal year 24, fiscal year 25, and you've got, you know, 17.367 million, 17.673 million. Those are not big differences. And then when you flip to the next page, if you're looking at this, the total operating expenses coming down about 3/4 of the way down on that page, you'll see for 24-25, 17.657 million compared to the for 24-25, 19.058 million, which is a big increase, and about 1.8187 million of that is staffing, increase in staffing costs. So you see how that state school fund doesn't keep up with what, you know, we're experiencing as far as, you know, everybody wants their raises and their increases. The next page, on page 31, is our financial projection by object. In this one, we exclude the charter school. And if you go down in that first upper box, the bottom line ending fund balance, we were sitting at 1.28 million. And I looked at the Marion County taxes, and we're going to have another 17,388 for July, which is paid in August. That one does come into the 24-25 fiscal year. So that will bring us up to about 1.297 million. So we'll just be really close to about 1.3 million for the ending fund balance. It's getting a little higher, but it's definitely not where I was, you know, hoping it would end at the end of this year. And then the final page, again, comparing, you know, going through and comparing the different years in the object by the major object. You see from 24-25, that increase in blue of staff salaries, and then in orange, the increase in the associated payroll cost.
That's gonna be forever, right?
Yeah.
It goes up.
It'll keep
Yeah.
going up.
Yeah. And can we make the font just a little bit bigger on the page beforehand next time?
The page,
Your font, because I can hear it.
page 31,
My glasses.
is that page 31, right?
31.
That one is great.
I was about-
That one is- I think I'm gonna have to work with Frontline on that, because I think part of it is the fade, it is
Part of it.
gray
It is.
instead
Kind
of
of
black.
faded a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and so you do it and you convert it to a PDF, and it's, yeah, I'll try to get it a little bigger, but yeah, it is hard to read, so, all right. Your version might even be harder than what I'm doing. Are there any questions?
Nope.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
So, for my report, I wanted to also touch base with you about the budget, at the state level. So, the first revenue forecast for the quarter comes out next Wednesday, and they're anticipating that it's going to be bad, revenue down. And, so next Wednesday, if it comes out and it's bad, you're gonna hear all this hubbub, right? Like people losing their minds. It is something to be concerned about. At this point, you know, it could be similar to what happened in 2009, where it got so bad that they came back to us 3 different times and made us cut our budget. We're not expecting that to happen in the first year of the biennium, but it could be in the second year of the biennium, depending on what happens. The biggest difference is that now the state does have a reserve account that is pretty healthy. And so, but the driving factor behind this is what's happening with Medicaid and SNAP benefits. When you look at Oregon's population, we're one of the highest for Medicaid benefits. I think 1 out of 6 Oregonians receive SNAP benefits. So when those get reduced because of what has happened at the federal level, there'll be other agencies that are asking like for help. And so, our argument is, and we're one of the biggest agencies helping those children.
Right.
That's a lot. So, anyway, this year is gonna be tight. I've already said there's no out-of-state travel unless it's like FFA or we have some big competition or something. But staff's not gonna be going out of state to travel for professional development. They can stay in state. And we're also really limiting like everything. We're expenses, do you really need to buy that pallet of paper? Do you really need to have that extra, whatever it is? Like, you need to be cognizant of what you're doing. Enrollment numbers as of today, we are at 900. They're still trying to clean the books, right? And so we budgeted at 900. I suspect that number will go up. I think we're gonna hit 920. And if we do, we are just saving the money. We're not gonna do any increased staffing or any of that. We're just socking it away. So, we'll wait and see what happens.
Typically get more, the little guys coming towards it. And, or right at the very,
Yeah,
Right.
when parents don't know, oh, I forgot to
Yeah.
is school next week?
it's like, hey,
Oh, was I supposed to register ahead of time? There's not like a welcome back to school day where I register. So, and that always happens. So.
Oh, I was gonna ask, because we got a little thing on our, said to try our little button for registration, for
Yeah.
registering.
Not working.
Okay, well, that was my question. Yeah, so.
You hold it.
Yeah, because it would only work if you were re-signing up your.
Yeah.
But not for a
Just
new
have
kid.
English there.
Yeah,
So we got to the point where it was working, but there was one or two forms that were just not capturing the data we thought was accurate. One of them was the language survey, which we need to capture when somebody enrolls, like, what's your preferred home language? And if they check something other than English, we have to administer the ELBA exam at the start to see if they're gonna, and like, that's a state requirement. And just the way that the interface was happening between those forms and our Power School, we just weren't confident it was gonna grab the information correctly. And so I went to Tracy and Sally and said, we're gonna pull it. We're gonna revisit this in October when registration slows down because we're gonna do it the right way. And we're gonna do it the way that we always have done it. Fortunately, we didn't advertise it to the community that we were really going digital yet, so it really wasn't anything different for them. And so we didn't lose anybody in the process, but it's like, we're not gonna try to speed through this and do it the wrong way. We're just gonna pause, we're gonna do it the right way, flow is smooth, smooth is fast.
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, good, all right.
Small logistical issues that we're dealing with, so it's good.
Thank you.
And the rest of my report is in the stuff that we're doing later, so I'm done talking.
All right, we're focused. Does anybody?
No, get the year started.
Yes, someone will be there. Yes, someone will say something.
That was before you got here, Henry. I asked them to consider it board focused if that's what they wanted to do about, first of all, who was gonna go to the bond advisory committee meetings. It
Oh,
was
yeah, that's.
you and
That bond.
And, but then also at the ribbon cutting ceremony and the groundbreaking ceremony, it might be nice to have board there and
Mhm.
maybe be prepared to say.
I think you guys are gone, yeah.
gone. Yes,
Yeah.
and so, I'm gone for all that stuff, and I'll be gone for the next board meeting too.
Okay.
I am in Tucson, so for work.
I'll be here for the next one, but I won't be around for those other ones, which I would really wish I.
I mean,
Really wanting to be.
yes, but
That shouldn't be.
The board advisory was you two last time?
yeah, so
You're not gonna continue? or-
no, someone else can take over, or Henry can just do it if that's. Henry would like.
It's only 4 meetings a year.
Yeah,
It's not like
it's
it's.
not bad, but it's just with my schedule, I just don't know if I'm coming or going half the time. so.
Are they in the evening?
Yes, they start on, it's on a Wednesday, usually the week before a board meeting on the months that they meet. And it starts at 6:30.
It's nice, it's neat to see all of them.
Yeah, and it's not, it's run by a community member. You don't have to do anything.
Just sit there. Yeah, it's actually,
Um,
it's very informative.
The next one coming up, September 10th, is starting earlier because we're doing the groundbreaking and take them on a little bit of a tour to see some of the updated classrooms, so.
I think it'd be very fun.
If no one else can, I probably can fit that in.
What?
But, doing the board, I know she's not gonna be able to be.
No, I don't mind.
You're
doing it.
cool, okay.
Sometimes somebody else can do it. I think both of us can be there too. It doesn't-
Yes,
it
no,
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is that I might skip my schedule.
Yeah.
Cover now.
So-
Okay.
All right. So that's.
Yes, okay.
All right, your consent agenda is separate in the packet. You'll be glad to know we are fully staffed and ready to go. Have an FFA teacher.
Oh, hey, good.
Who's that? Who's one?
Her name is Morgan
Morgan.
Devane.
Devane.
Okay, so.
And she's brand new. She just finished her student teaching up in Sandy.
Oh,
And she's very excited. She got her degree in Montana.
oh,
Okay.
right where the cows come from.
Andrew said that when she got the notification that.
Oh.
That's
I
great.
told her about orientation. She said, "See, Sandra, I am so thankful. I am so thankful." I'm like, yeah, we'll see you Friday. I know you're, yeah, I understand, but yeah, she's pretty.
But 20, you're brand new, coming out of college?
Yeah.
She's like 23.
Okay, so a question on that. You have a brand new teacher coming out of college. So what kind of, will she have some kind of mentor?
Yes, you're
that-
part of a mentor program.
Uh-huh.
So that, did you let the rent know?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah,
Because
we
we,
just hired.
yeah, we just hired.
Okay. Yeah, she is part, and there's one other teacher in our district that is second year in experience. So they have these mentors that come in for first and second year teachers.
Okay.
And they work through problems of practice or, whatever, but they're also then partnered with a staff member at their building, so at the high school, to help them.
No, I mean, because there's lots, I mean, when it's a brand new teacher, I'm thinking to myself, you have a lot of processes and procedures that you kind of need to understand. And, I mean, she's younger and you have I was just curious.
Yeah.
Good onboarding.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys are taking care of that. Okay.
Thank
Three
you.
hundred, let her just fend for herself. Get out there and do your work.
Take care of those pigs and those rabbits.
I've had jobs like that, so don't be like, oh, here. Figure out this big tax return. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
So you put that in the system.
Are we doing
Yeah, go for it.
a consent item? I move that the Jervis District #1 Board of Directors approve the consent items listed in mass, 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3.
We have a motion?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have one action item tonight. It's the board superintendent working agreement that's on page 50 of your packet. This is the same one that I presented as a draft at our July meeting. And it's the exact same one as we've had before. I just had to change the policy because the policy letters had changed since the last time we did it.
Motion?
Yeah.
Sherman School District #1 Board of Directors is moved to approve to adopt the 2025-26 board and superintendent working agreement as shown in agenda 8-25-8.1.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Hey, bond update. So we don't have a written update for you tonight. Scott had some other issues that were coming up, but just so we where we're at now. Turf fields are done.
Yeah.
We were able to get the track cleaned and relined, and there's a little repair that needs to happen. They're gonna take care of that for free, which is really nice. The softball field is done as well. There is some leftover turf, which we'll be saving. And when we build the weight room structure, part of that design has a roll-up door. So we'll put some of that turf out there so they can use it for drills or whatever they do.
Just to make it look cool.
Just make it
Yeah.
look cool. Yeah. At the elementary school, the roofing is almost done. They were putting up gutters yesterday and today. At the high school, They are going to have the majority of the work done before teachers roll in, but there'll be some trim work that they have to do when teachers are here next week, but it's not gonna be excessively noisy, so everything with the roofing is done, is basically done. Small problem at the high school, so they had torn the roof off, and then we had the one rainstorm of the summer. And the water came in and it did damage a portion of the gym floor.
Oh, no.
So there's a couple little sections. They're still waiting for these two sections to dry out. One is in the equipment closet, so that might,
Not a 911.
but there is a section to the corner of the volleyball court area. It's not where the players would need to be, but you can see it. It has a temporary patch on it. And then they're waiting for the materials to come in so they can refinish that.
So it damaged that they have to replace the flooring. Huh?
Apparently, yeah, it
Wow.
got warped really bad. Yeah,
Wow.
it was
Because-
really bad.
Oh, that
It's
can-
like it rained that.
No, and so
Yeah.
we have that clear stuff over the top and that
Yeah.
is water solid, like water can get through that, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
And of
crazy.
course, as they're talking about our floor, it's the kind of floor we've never seen before. The floor was refinished, but the floor is original.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah, so the floor itself, the base layer is the slab of concrete, the original slab of concrete, which as you can imagine, it's how old is that? Like
Like
60
60
years old now. And then it has kind of this weird corking underneath it. And so it's not gonna be, when it's time to replace that, it's not gonna be cheap. And I just said that will be the next superintendent's problem.
Yep.
I'm not dealing with
I
it.
don't think it was cheap to refinish it.
No, it was not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not, none of it's cheap.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's getting fixed and it will be fine. The elementary school, we got 10 classrooms done with the new, scraping all of the nasty plaster, insulation, new ceiling tiles and the lighting. Beautiful. It
Oh, nice.
looks great. We don't have the controls in there yet where it can dim.
Oh.
But
Nice.
it's still just the
Okay.
switch right now, but those will get put in there. And it just makes all the beautiful ceilings and the lighting, it's just like, oh,
Right
that's
in there.
very nice. Yeah.
Are they like the sensing lights, like when
They
you walk
are.
in, they'll?
Well,
pop
yes,
in?
there will be sensors up there when they get that done, but they're also the kind of light that if you have a classroom with a big bank of windows, so you get a lot of direct light, you can then, it will change.
Oh,
it,
wow.
The warmth of the light.
Yeah.
So not
That's
so like
cool.
harsh and glaring right down on you. So, so now, of course, everybody's frantically scrambling because it's a hot mess over there. So,
Oh, yeah.
my message to staff in my back to school letter, and it will be on Tuesday as well, is like, you need to strap your patience caps on. Like, it's going to be a mess and it's gonna get worse before it gets better. So,
100%. It's all gonna get
Yep.
better and it'll be a
Yep.
lot nicer than it was.
Yep.
So,
So, tomorrow, we will be laying some gravel, where the grass and the trees are at the middle school. That's kind of their little turnaround because that will be a mini parent turnabout. We're gonna have,
We're
do
getting up.
you know where the Hoyt sign is?
Oh, yeah.
So that will be removed.
Okay.
Oh.
And then there's grass and trees right there that will be leveled and there'll be gravel put in there so that cars can get out of the parking lot and come around to drop their kids off.
Oh.
But it will be much reduced because, the
So
construction.
they're just kind of
Exactly.
barely coming in, like where that sign is and.
Yes.
scooting out? Okay.
Yes, and just so you know, we are replacing the memorial sign that dedicates the field. Doug has ordered a sign that attaches to the scoreboard. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
not here yet, but we wanted to make sure that we honored the fundraising that went in to do that. And I mean, the brick memorial itself is not very well constructed. It's just brick and mortar, literally. There's no rebar in it or anything, so it constantly falls apart. So, and we will save the plaque if the family decides that they want that one, but we will have a replacement on the scoreboard.
That's good.
So we have, because we don't have new lights, right? Will those be in by the game?
Oh, that we have,
Oh, they're
the
new.
lights
Got it.
are up,
Oh,
they're
they're up.
ready to
Okay.
go. We're waiting for the little training and the iPad that's full of all the music, and it will be
Oh,
a
wow.
whole thing. Yeah,
Okay.
it will be.
Us stepping up.
None of the lights were grounded, so that it cost extra. We had
Okay.
that.
Imagine that.
None of them were grounded.
Imagine that.
It's so weird.
Those things are,
Doesn't surprise us really.
those things are not good forever though.
No, it's just recommended. It's not on fire.
It is true that it this way sometimes.
So, up and I do have.
We
So,
got our game.
The jar up in our game.
Lights and music, wow.
It won't burn anything down or electrocute it. So there's that for the win. We have a slight problem with the, approval plans for the middle school. So the, city planners manager Holly came back with her staff report that said, that we needed to put a sidewalk that runs in front of the high school from the first driveway or opening, how you get in the high school parking lot,
Yep, yep.
down to fiber fab. We're going to appeal that. So on the 4th of September, I will be going to the city council meeting along with the engineer and Scott Rose to talk about, why that is a bad idea. First of all, it's
People
gonna
are
cost like
walking.
$100 and some thousand to make a sidewalk that goes to nowhere.
Right.
It, it is going to be on the ditch,
Right.
right in the ditch, so it's under the tree canopy. I was out there measuring and from the fog line to where they think the sidewalk is gonna start only provides a pedestrian with 4 feet of protection. But if you're on the other side of the street, like on the Dollar General side, and you measure at the bike lane, to where
Yeah.
the sidewalk starts, there's 7.5 feet worth of protection there. If you create that sidewalk, you're now inviting an opportunity for kids to be darting back and forth to the parking
100%.
lot as a launching off point across that highway.
Right.
And, so our argument is going to be that we aren't doing anything to the high school that would require a sidewalk improvement.
Right.
We get the middle school. We're having to put a whole driveway, major
Yeah.
parking, sidewalks, all of that. We totally understand that. But they have an ordinance, which we understand. You have to have an ordinance, but they also have the flexibility to be able to look at it project by project and see, does the ordinance make sense in this application?
Right.
And we're going to argue, no, it does not make sense.
No, yeah.
We do not want people walking towards fiber fab. We do not want people walking from fiber fab towards our high school. So, I am going to ask Midco to write a letter of support about why this should not happen from a transportation perspective. I'm going to reach out to the parent club at the elementary school where we have the parents talk about how we do not want our children to easily be hopping from one side of the highway to the
Mhm.
next. Want them going to crosswalks and crossing where there's protection. The Safe Routes to School report, we have a section in there that talks about why we shouldn't have a sidewalk there. So I will be asking the board if you can think of people that would be good to come and make public comment. Parents who had kids here or who were students here or whatever, where they can argue in favor of granting the school district's appeal.
And the city's reasoning is because they have this ordinance.
They have a code that says all new construction will have sidewalks. I mean, I paraphrase that, but basically that's what it is.
Well, then I'm hoping that they sure have a sidewalk where they just put in or right behind me, 2 new.
Yeah, or maybe in front of my house. That'd be nice. I'd like to have a sidewalk. there.
And our-
Construction. then,
And our
right?
argument will be that if we were in the middle of downtown and
Yeah,
doing something to the high school, we would totally understand.
where people should be walking.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that we as a school district and a community agency already work really hard to protect our children because we bus kids over the railroad tracks, even though they're within the required walking distance. So we already have an additional expense because of the lack of safety in our streets.
You could also argue it's not new construction. It's not one.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, no, that's really interesting though, because I'm thinking there is brand new construction behind us. And I'm like, hey, so then there better be a
I
sidewalk.
need to go over and make a
There's sidewalks back there? All that new construction?
I know that, exactly. You should look.
Back there too.
Look.
I did, I went and looked, there are sidewalks there.
Yeah.
There.
Why are there no sidewalks during, I don't know, half the town is missing? Like,
The ordinance.
like I have to have a PO box and I spend $200 a year for it because somebody else down the street actually has has their own mailbox. And I have to pay for a PO box and it's $200 every year. And that just seems really crazy. And every time I've gone to them to ask, like, what's the deal and what can we do? Nothing.
Yeah.
No sidewalk where I'm at, nothing. I
Well,
mean,
I'm
like,
glad to hear that they
that's-
have a sidewalk over here. I'll have to double check to see when the duplex that's going behind me.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
that-
If they
that's
want-
interesting, because a lot of the old houses that have been tore down and put in, they put sidewalks on all those,
They
like
should,
up there.
they should be.
Like,
there.
The ordinance
On
was
Street,
enacted in
right.
2020. I remember the discussion because I was at one of those city council meetings because they were talking about like the lack of parking regulations, lack of garages, sidewalks, and so they put forth that
Yeah.
ordinance. I think that we have a good leg to stand on in terms of like, just because you have an ordinance doesn't mean it's a blanket approach to every project.
Right.
There, and that's why there is an appeal process. It gives you, the council, the opportunity to consider, does this make sense?
Right.
And I think you have more reasonable people on there once you talk to them about it, so.
Yeah, this is clearly not reasonable at all.
No.
So,
So we need to get some folks to be
Yeah.
able to
Keep in
come.
mind, we don't have $100,000 to make sidewalks.
Yeah.
There's a lot
To
more
nowhere.
things we could spend $100,000
sidewalk to nowhere. I just keep calling
I
it.
know, it really is
If you,
though.
I had Kelly took
It is a
pictures.
sidewalk to
If
nowhere.
you look at one of the things that Holly cited in her staff report was that, well, if Fiber Fab should get sold or reoccupied.
Yeah, right.
And they have to do something to that building, they're gonna be required to put sidewalks in. So I went and looked at it, took pictures. There's a huge old growth tree right there where they'd have to cut it down.
Mm.
And then it's right in front of their loading docks.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna want people walking by the loading docks, which is right off of Highway
You
99.
have to go around because the truck's probably gonna stick out
And not to mention, you're making kids
Yeah.
go over 2 driveways to get to nowhere.
Yeah.
to get to the freeway.
To get to 99.
I'm honestly, I'm kind of shocked, kind of. I mean, like, I just
I-
don't understand.
Tried to have the conversation with the city manager about like, this is not reasonable, and he said the Holly, the person hired, is not going to go against code and make a staff recommendation that violates code. I said, I'm not asking her to make a staff recommendation that violates code. As the superintendent, I go to my board all the time and say, this is your policy, but this is what I'm recommending. And you can do that if you'd like, or not do that if you'd like, or would you
Right.
like me to look at other options? He's not willing to do that.
I mean, it's one thing if it's like as you said, if we were in the middle of something,
Mhm.
but we're not, it's a road to nowhere.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So,
Anyway, but yes,
I was really hoping that we were gonna maybe be moving past some of this.
it's been very difficult. Anything going through the county is really taking a long time. The signs, the reader board signs, so the one at the elementary school, it actually doesn't meet code. It's too tall. And so we just want to replace like for like. I'm gonna have to ask for a variance on that. And then the one that we want to put facing Highway 99. So technically, because it's on city property, it has to meet the city regulations. And if I have the city regulations, nobody will be able to see the sign because at the fence line. So I have to go and ask for a variance so that we can have it
Oh,
at an
no.
appropriate height. So that it is not causing people to wreck or, whatever as they're looking at it.
Wow.
So,
and where would that side be? Over there by the,
the
Softball
fence of
field?
the softball field,
Okay.
yeah.
so that one right in between there, there was that gate that used to be able to go in,
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
to the-
And it will be
Community
both
service.
sides of people coming and going on night.
We should put it on our property and just make it right. So you see, so it doesn't sit on their property.
No, it's because it's city property,
Oh.
because the school is in city limits.
Yeah, that's the.
So,
Wow.
it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Energy.
Yeah, it's okay. So anyway, I will be sending an email probably tomorrow, just kind of reminding you what I'm meeting for that Thursday.
Perfect.
and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Except we're not gonna be around.
No, but I still can call people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So, spread the word.
That's my update. Okay,
Okay.
then you have you have some positions on OSBA. If anybody'd like to,
Private.
do that. It could be an action item, or you could just not do it. You.
We're good. Good.
Are we done?
With that. Right. Nice. Okay, so we're on to my report on Q4 and the annual report for the integrated plan in early literacy. I'm required to do this for state, and so the first grant I'm going to report on is our early literacy grant, which has to deal with anything last year, K-5 reading. Our grant award was just over $73,000. So all we could afford to do was hire someone. So that would be Cindy Smith's position.
Nice.
And I want to just clarify, our TOSAs are different than a lot of other people's TOSAs, teacher on special assignment. Most TOSAs don't teach. They coach, they coordinate, they manage programs. Our TOSAs, except for Bonnie, all teach. So Cindy is in the classroom working with kids, helping content teachers figure out how do we help our lower level readers. So it all went to Steffi. And then I have 4 questions that I am supposed to answer. Did our money pay for any teacher development or coaching? No, because we didn't have enough money. Did we do any high dosage tutoring with the money other than hiring Cindy to provide that? We didn't offer any other opportunities. Now, we did offer these things, but we did not pay for them with this money. We paid for them out of other pots of money. Extended learning. We had no extended learning that came out of these funds. You had extended learning that you paid for out of Frontier Charter. So our after school programs for our elementary kids. And if you had more than one elementary school, you had to break it down, but we don't. So any questions about early literacy? We got the exact same amount of funding this year as we did last year. We were told it was gonna be double. So now I have to figure out where I'm gonna find that 70,000. I think I figured it out. But
We planned on double.
we had planned on double because they told us double. So, yeah, we'll figure it out. This particular report is only about the student investment account and the early literacy, but we have all these other programs that are aligned and that we have to report on usually that do include things like chronic absenteeism, continuous improvement, CTEC, or CTE, but this report is not about that. So we had identified outcomes. We wanted to maintain our graduation rate for all groups. For the 4-year cohort, we wanted to improve regular attendance rates to pre-pandemic levels. We wanted to improve academic achievement to pre-pandemic levels and close those achievement gaps for kids like our students with disability or ELD. And then promoting social and emotional growth, supporting the mental well-being of all, and create an educational environment of empathy and respect. So everything we did last year was centered around these kind of 4 things. And then this is where chat or the IA tool came into effect, because I could dump all the data in there and then it would do progress or success, what were the challenges or barriers, what were the progress markers that I identified, because that helps me doing my next report, and then next steps. So I had provided this in your packet. So, you know, attendance rates, the elementary school is making great progress. The new indicator that schools will be held accountable for this coming year is K2 attendance. So we've already hit that hard. But we are still seeing significant issues with high school attendance. But we did see an increase in academics with ninth graders completing classes and their attendance going up. Weird, I know.
So they're not coming to school, but they're still learning.
They don't come to school regularly, or they're hit and miss, and then the teachers are spending their time before school, after school, during lunch, evening school, trying to get them caught up. Which is a burnout factor for teachers, right? It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And so, my message this year to them is also to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Like if.
Hold them accountable, like if you hear.
Get to just get the stuff. And it also sets a bad example for the kids who are coming every day and
Right.
working really hard to try and meet the expectations, and they see, well, you never come and you got a packet and now we have the same grade. So,
I totally support that, Tammy. I think that we need to start holding people
Accountable.
accountable.
I mean, everybody was really being accommodating and understanding, and rightfully so. There was a
Yeah.
lot of things that happened, COVID and all of that, but now it's time to kind of, let's get back to real.
Yeah, we can't continue babysitting.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah.
not feasible at all.
So, the academic achievement, we had double-digit gains in seventh grade reading and math, and, ninth graders, so it's ninth graders on track, meaning at the end of the year, how many of them have at least 6 credits? That means that they will be on track to graduate within 4 years and not have to go to grade lengths to try and recover credit. So we had a lot of ninth grade kids more improve in that area. And what we're doing for next steps is that I have budgeted money out of SIA to pay POF to come in and do a night school. And the direction to administrators is that when you see a kid start to fail, they get assigned to after school or night school, and they are going to come until they no longer have an F. So that's just a non-negotiable. We're not going to be running around trying to get everybody credits at the end of June and July.
No.
Some of the challenges have been getting staff to consistently implement our new curriculum and follow the assessment deadlines and the interim assessments, but we had some pretty hard conversations this last spring, and I think they're understanding like the why behind it. Social emotional growth, again, our Youth Truth Survey results are out of the park. They're way above any national trends in terms of, do kids feel connected, safe, and heard? For those kids that come to school, they do. For the kids that don't come to school, there's all sorts of issues that are happening. They're not just necessarily school related, but barriers at home.
Sure.
So we'll be working on that. And then making sure that we've got a different PD for our staff to figure out, how do I implement the social emotional learning that is in every curriculum we have adopted? Every single content area has curriculum that talks about, take this opportunity to have kids talk about a time they didn't feel included, or about a time that they felt unjustly punished, or, talk about a time you did not feel like you had anybody to connect to. Every curriculum, it has it. So it's not just a standalone, hi guys, today at noon, we're talking about how to make friends. Our graduation rate. So we, exceeded all of our longitudinal growth targets. And part of that is, I'm not very happy about that, because I tried to set higher targets, but the state wouldn't let. So when we set the targets and I said, well, I think we can do X%. And they're like, oh no, that's way too high. You need to lower that.
Wow.
Yeah, I think some of it was because of COVID, right? But I was like, that, we got 6% because nobody took the test, and we're gonna do something different this next year. And so I think let's go 15%. And like, oh no, that's not statistically possible. I go, it is. And so, and then the other piece that they said, and I think I shared this with you before, don't set those too high, because if you fail to meet them, then you're gonna get extra help from ODE, and you don't want that. And what they mean is that it would be punitive. Right, I don't want to be in sanctions, but anyway, so yes, we did that. So we are sent a group of teachers to the PLC conference, And what I love about this is that these teachers are core in both the middle school and the high school, and they're totally bought in, and they're the ones leading the charge this time instead of administrators trying to tell people what to do. So I think that will make a lot of gains.
That's helpful.
Here. So the metrics that we are looking at, so our target was 92% and and it was 86%, but you have to remember that's like one kid for us because we only have a graduating class like 79. So, and I tried to talk to them about that and I'm like, can we, like, is there a way
a little
to set it
differently.
something differently, but that we can't, so fine. And again, like the year before, we were at, 94% or 98% graduation rate, but so it's just.
COVID.
Oh, 5-year completion. So our target was 88%, but we actually had 94% of the kids that weren't quite done at the end of their senior year finished. And again, this is like one kid who prevented us from being 100%. Ninth grade on track. So our target was 77%. We actually had 85%. And remember, this is for the 23-24 school year. We don't have the 24-25 data yet. So you're looking at data that's a year old. English language proficiency. So they jumped 8%, 10% growth. I'm not supposed to share, but we grew more than that again this year. So,
Yay.
yeah, it's working. And then regular attenders, target was 60%. It was 66%. It's a little higher than that for this last year. So the engagement activities with parents, I mean, the thing is that there's only so much bribing you can do with the kid. Like, right, the kids that are really motivated to come to school, if you offer them the Apple Watch or the iPad, okay, that gets a few of them, but for some of them, they don't care about that. And so you can be punitive, which we do, we punish them. You can reward and give incentives. Okay, we do that too. And then there has to just come to the point in time where you get the parents to and the kid to figure out like what would motivate you to come to school? What do you need to come to school? Please tell us what you need. Do you need an extra bus? Yeah. Yeah.
Help me help you.
Sustaining, let's see, academic interventions. So we've added the intensive blocks at the middle school, right? Where Tony's added those both intervention and extension. And she had so many kids that are eligible for the extension in reading and math that she had to add another section. So kids did that well on their growth. And then our climate and SEL, our youth truth surveys, continue to be the thing that we use to drive what we're addressing in each of our buildings. And the thing that I like about that, just so you know, we do that survey in November. You probably have seen it come through on your email. But then we get the results early enough in January that we can start addressing any issues right away so that it's not like, oh, last year and now we're trying to fix it this September.
2 years left.
Yeah. So we're working hard to figure out the absentee reduction. We had attendance summit yesterday, talking with each of the people in the buildings that are in charge of attendance, trying to come up with a plan about how we're all consistent. And the message, I have identified a staff person who's a Spanish speaker who will be able to go do home visits with each. So if the high school has a kid they need to go visit, they can take this staff member with them and have someone that can speak Spanish and can help get to the root of the problem. Again, sustaining the early literacy gains. We know K3 is vital. And so we're just going to continue to push those efforts. And staff development and engagement. We've been talking about this for, 2 years. This is the 3rd year, the idea that kids have to be doing things. It's not how much the staff is doing. It's, as a teacher, it's what are kids doing? And what level of their learning are they engaged in? Are they just rote memorization, multiple choice, spit out the answer? Or are they actually taking the information and struggling with it to make a different need? Call it a productive struggle. So that's what I'll be looking for, productive struggles with their kids. And then their PLC's communities at the middle and high school. Elementary school is already doing a really good job of this. That's why they've been able to make the kinds of gains that they're making. They know what they're looking for, they know how to identify when the kids don't get it, and they give them the tutoring. And then this was just a graphic that AI did. It's like, I don't know if I like that or not, but we'll try it. So do you have any questions about the grant or the proposal or the Q4? Okay, the last topic for the regular session is the joint city council board meeting. So in my board report on page 33, I had indicated the date that they would like to meet, Thursday, October 23rd. And they want to meet at 7 PM because they have someone who works in Beaverton that can't get off work early. So by the time they get here. So first of all, does that date work?
Well,
That October?
October 23rd.
either at 5:30.
7.
So I've got nothing right in any of those. Got it.
And it's gonna be there.
They want to have it here,
Oh,
yes,
here.
yeah,
Okay, here.
because it's tough to have a bigger group than what they have at the, they have that dais or whatever you call it. So they want to have it here. And then these were the proposed topics
Oh.
that we brainstormed on. Is there anything from a school district perspective that you want the city to consider or address or educate you on?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes. So when Rick and I were trying to brainstorm topics that might be of interest for both groups and would have common work for both groups, these were the topics that we came up with. And basically, from my perspective, the idea is that we don't, other than the district, there's not much here for kids and families. And so, like, we used to have a youth sports league, and we don't have there's all sorts of things that we don't have. We could just go on and on. But to him, I talked about how the lack of a city housing development plan has impacted our ability to get new young families into the community, which wouldn't feed your elementary school. Because I don't have any problem filling your middle school and high school because you got all these transfer kids coming in. But nobody wants to really transfer in their kindergartner if they're not coming to work here.
Right.
So if there's any other topics that you want to have a conversation on that involve the city, or what are the city's responsibilities, but how it impacts the school district. Or we could just go with these 4 topics. And we can always do 5 other, than if you think of something.
I think those are good ones on there.
Yeah, they're fine. They're broad.
Yeah. It's a good start.
Okay, all right, I will let Rick know tomorrow that we can book the October 23rd date at 7 PM. And I anticipate it's gonna be like an hour-long meeting, so. Okay. All right. That's all I have for the regular session.
Okay. We're done.
So
Oh,
adjourn
meeting
out
is
of it
adjourned.
and then call us into.
Now we're gonna start our working session.
Are you okay if I run to the restroom real quick?
5-minute break.
You're not okay.
It's all on their phones. You know?
Only got we, I know.
It was your last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only guy I know.
I went for the meeting. There's a Petra on there, I can't remember, I met them. I'm really surprised at what's happening here with the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So that's right from the school.
Yeah.
So with the tree.
It's already-
Yeah, with the ditch, like, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say
but, I graduated from there, so I can say something.
I mean, I'm perplexed as to
And then I
why
have
we're
a
trying
freshman
to,
or a freshman, so.
yeah, like, why are we trying to make it even more difficult? Like,
Why are we
this
welcoming
is,
that?
this is,
Are you trying to improve here?
But isn't the state kind of looking at them right now to not make sure they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing if it's in an ordinance and things, because of all the hubbub they had with all the.
Oh, that has nothing to do with that.
No, if they did the story, if they were replacing like where's the driveway.
That guy's now the city manager, so he's trying to make sure that all his things are covered in T and things there, so. And then you gotta go through, we have to go through the process of, I don't know, it makes no sense either.
But
So that would be the only.
Okay, so welcome to your board training. On your area that you're at, you have a, yeah. And it's just a packet that's paper clipped. And so, it's not this whole PowerPoint, but I will refer to it a few times during the presentation. So, your training is centered around how school boards, do impact. Wish I could really figure out where to put this. On how school boards do impact students, right? And so this is taken right out of our strategic plan, which you have the brand new copy of. Got it today. You'll notice in the back side, it has a QR code to our bond up page and the updates and a timeline of where we're going. And,
By the way, I like the little flyer we got with the little pictures of the roof and everything
Oh,
going on.
yes.
Through into the community. that was
yes,
nice, so,
yeah,
Yeah.
that was this week. Yeah. And so these are the kind of the four those are the four core values that we have in this district. Access, which is your new equity language. Everybody can access their education. Integrity, excellence, relationships, and our community. We value our community. And so all your work is grounded and all the district work is grounded in these four core values. 5, actually, I can't count. So the practices of high performing boards, you have a handout. It's the one that with the black box. And it talks about what the different standards are and kind of what brings all pieces into good board governance. So you're a cohesive team. You might disagree, and it's okay for you to disagree, but that you recognize that each represents constituency and bring important perspectives that need to be considered. You value stakeholder and community engagement. You adopt policy and that you have an accountability to that policy, that you recognize that you are going to follow your board working agreements. You're going to follow all the board policies about how do you report issues, what's your responsibility to come to meetings and be prepared, and how do you listen to people. You have time for data and monitoring. So, we do that quarterly through our strategic plan updates. We're giving you information about how are our students doing in their reading and math goals, what's our student attendance look like, which is what I just did here. You'll get those more extensive reports during the year. Climate and resources, gauging how are things going in each building, and are we using resources, or do we have resources available to allocate to those needs? Like last year when you decided, hey, let's use some Frontier Charter money so that we can provide after school opportunities for the elementary school. Let's do that because we knew that was a need. And then we have vision and goals, which is here in our strategic plan. You would not believe how many boards don't have vision and goals. Like they might have a strategic plan, but it's not the kind of living document that we're using it as. And so like this centers all your work and everything comes out of it. A lot of districts aren't doing that right now.
We're just trying to get through.
Yes. So the board, that's you guys. If you didn't know who you were, there you are.
Oh, yeah, hopefully, but you can take that. Hard.
If anybody would like to have their picture redone, we can arrange that, no problem.
I would appreciate that.
I'll be sending one to Tracy.
Yeah, do that. We do have picture day next Thursday. Like,
Rusty, what is that?
Thursday of next week, starting at 4.
Oh, come on, I can make that.
We have a
I say we just come in and do it.
I will remind you.
Therefore,
I will, yeah, you know what? I need to do one anyways.
Where are we going here?
So there's actually a mobile, picture.
It's like the dental van. You just go in. Picture of paper.
Smile and.
So we can just hop in line.
I am totally gonna do that.
The JT Studios.
Okay, wait. Wait, you said.
Okay, at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock on Thursday, you said.
Yes.
The
27th, 28th,
27th?
That's our open house.
Or
meeting.
28th?
It's your birthday. Perfect.
Oh, your birthday, you can have a birthday picture.
Outfit.
I'm gonna come.
Bow.
Picture with the crown and the sash.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
So anyway,
Sorry, I didn't mean.
there are 12 standards that, and those are in the back of your board packet. Those are what you used last year to kind of identify your goals, but there's 12 standards that OSBA says you should adhere to be effective leaders, or figure out how to we incorporate those standards into the work that you do as a board. So that's your job, keeping in mind those 12 standards. And then that's my job.
You got a great picture.
Yeah. Someone was special. I paid for it myself. You look good. Good job. So, and then I hire staff, I turn your district priorities and goals into action, I implement the policies that you've passed, and I develop the regulations for following those policies, and then I plan expenditures and manage the budget, and I report district progress. So you have a mandatory training that you're required to do. This isn't new. Because of all of the shenanigans that happened during COVID and just after COVID, they decided that it was time to have some mandatory training in PACE. Your insurance company said that it was mandatory because they're the ones that have to pay all the lawsuit fees for when boards maybe don't quite do what they're supposed to do. So you have to do it at any governing body. So the word total got cut out with my graphic there. Any governing body totaling expenditures of $1 million or more, so that's like your city councils and those kinds of people too. It has to happen once during your term of office, so you won't have this training again until somebody else has a new term, and then we'll do it again. And we have to maintain a record of it, so Sandra will have our minutes and we'll have our recording of this, and then if you're asked, have you completed the training, you would truthfully certify that you completed it. So
That was our training?
we have 194 slides to go. No. So the required training is all about public meeting and how you're supposed to conduct yourself in a public meeting, what's the purpose of a public meeting, and then what happens in executive session. So any public meeting is when you have a group of people that usually have been elected, like yourself or city council, where you're getting together to deliberate, make decisions, discuss budget, money, and you have to be transparent about it. The public needs to know that they could sit here and they're going to know exactly what really is going on, and that there aren't behind the scenes private conversations and back deals being done to drive the work of the district. So it's anytime, a public meeting is anytime that we convene our governing body. So that's you guys. And there's a quorum. So for our board, we have to have at least 3 of you to make any voting decisions. And that's also why it's important that if you're not going to be in a meeting, that you make sure you let Sandra and I know, so we can make sure that we plan that we have a quorum if we have to get business done. And that you're going to deliberate toward a decision, and you're going to do that publicly. So there's this thing called a serial electronic written communication, or a serial meeting. And so the idea is that you're not supposed to discuss board business unless you're in a board meeting, right? But sometimes people will say, well, what if I just I'm going to just talk to Jenny about what I think about this board policy that we're going to adopt. This is why I think it's wrong, or this is why I think we should do it. Jenny listens to my input, and then she says, you know what, I'm going to go talk to Henry about that. The minute you bring in a third person, that becomes a meeting. And that is serial communication, and you can't do that. So it's okay for you all to check, like when I send you the group text, hey, don't forget, or hey, check your email. If you all respond to me, that's fine. You can say whatever you want to me, but then you can't say, yeah, what Jenny said. And yeah, I don't agree with what Henry said in that group text, right? You can all, and you can text me privately if you have other concerns or questions, but just avoiding doing a reply all unless it's like, have a great day or thanks so much. We really want to avoid that. You can do group texts, emails if it's just clarifying. What time was that meeting at?
Right.
Where are we doing that again? Okay, so things that have nothing to do with any kind of decision that you might make. When is it not a meeting? When you're on-site inspections of any project or program. So like when we have the groundbreaking ceremony or the ribbon cutting, if you were all there, that's not a meeting. You're just there enjoying yourself at an activity. If we had something happen at the elementary school, or like you don't decide you want to come to staff in service, you all 5 could show up and it's fine. You can be anywhere together where you're looking at projects, you're at like OSBA conference together, having a training, that's fine. Social gatherings, if you all go to the same church, or if you're all your kids playing the same little league baseball team, you're all going there and having the end of the year pizza party, that's fine too. So the things that you can talk about, anything not related to the actual board decisions, you could talk about, oh, isn't that excellent that the high school football team won the state championship? That's fabulous. Or, oh, did you go to the community library time that they had on Saturday that Dusty had, he was out there handing out popsicles. Oh yeah, that was great. That is fine. You can talk about any of that stuff. So it's considered non-substantive in nature. So public meeting requirements, they are open to the public, hence meeting, the phrase public meeting. Just because it's a public meeting does not mean that the public can participate, though. And there's some parameters here that we can talk about. So the location, if you are actually conducting business at the meeting or just having like this work session where something might come out of, you have to meet within your jurisdiction. So we couldn't take our regular work sessions to Salishan. We could do a retreat at Salishan, but you couldn't make any decisions there. But if it was a public meeting, it has to happen within where you are the governing body. Usually at the public body's administrative headquarters, but some districts would declare, hey, our regular work session is going to be in the high school library this month, and we would have to advertise that. At the nearest practical location. So let's suppose that the district office collapsed upon itself. You could hold it someplace else. If we had any tribal association, we could hold it on the reservation or on tribal lands, but we don't, so that doesn't apply to us. And in a location that's accessible to people with disabilities. So we could not have it in the mezzanine at the high school and not provide some kind of accommodation for someone in a wheelchair. Training sessions, so where there's no deliberations or decisions, you can joint meetings. So again, we had a tribal agency we were associated with, or an actual emergency. So let's suppose that we had a big flood or a fire that came through here. We don't have anything left to meet here in Jervis, so we have to go to Woodburn for our school board meeting. That is an emergency, and we could do that. It's required by state law that we provide remote access to our meetings. So every meeting that we have has to be available for the public to view on, we use the platform Zoom. Some people use Meets, team meetings. And we also have to provide an opportunity or a way for the public to engage in public comment if our meetings were all remote. So because we do virtual where we're in person and out there, you know, they can sign in here or they can raise their hand and chime in. Yeah.
What if we weren't able to be, here physically for the?
You could join
Yeah.
remotely.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And we did that during COVID.
And we've done it before, like,
Someone was out of town.
Someone was out of town and
Yeah,
zoomed
I've,
in.
I've,
Yeah.
I've done it
Yeah.
before. Yeah. Like I actually rarely missed a meeting. and-
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And of course, I would, if that comes down to it, just to do it, I'll send a group text.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
I change
Yeah.
it up, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
and it totally worked.
Yeah, works fine.
Easy.
So executive sessions, you have a handout. There's a summary first about just what public meeting laws are, and AI produced that these two little page for you. So if you just need a little cheat sheet, you have that. Because at your meeting last month, I gave you the whole big packet of all of the OSBA and PACE slide decks. So this just summarizes that very long slide deck. So executive session, we still have to give notice for that. And it has to be at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting, unless it's something emergency happens, but it has to be very clearly defined and fall into specific kinds of emergencies, not just because, oh my gosh, we want to talk about whatever. It has to be like a grievance, a lawsuit, an injury. Like during COVID, there were emergency executive sessions, so we could talk about logistics and kind of thing. We have to identify the specific citation. So last year, Henry Reed, we're going into executive session under ORS, and he lists the number. Sandra gets those numbers for us from our legal counsel to make sure we're in compliance with that. And then they're very limited in terms of who can be in attendance. We have never had any media here to come into an executive session with us, but we used to in Silver Falls all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you have to let one of them, somebody, yes.
Mhm. They can come in and observe, and then most of the time they can't report on what you said. Well, they can usually not report anything about what you said unless it's just in general. Yes,
Why can they
did.
come in?
Huh?
Why do they get to come in?
Because it's about keeping the board transparent and accountable for what's going on behind closed doors. So for a regular meeting, we have to give at least 48 hours notice, a special meeting at least 24 hours in advance. So we were in the throes of COVID and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we're closing school tomorrow. What do? We gave less than the 48 hours notice. And then an emergency meeting, if again, some kind of crisis had happened, some kind of emergency involving maybe an armed intruder or something at the school, we would call an emergency meeting, and we would be fine by not giving a 24-hour notice. Public meeting minutes, that's why Sandra's over here. And she also uses an AI to help keep track of them.
So I have talked to Creighton about the new device.
Okay.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I'd like to have Sandra's body here.
And so we do not have to include a word for word transcript of what happened. Dandy said this, then Jenny said that, then Anna said this. It's just a summary of the generalized conversation, but we do have more detailed minutes should somebody want a transcript of it.
And could they ask for the recording?
Yeah. And we publish the recording online,
Online, so.
and it is required to be published within 24 hours of the meeting ending.
If they
So
wanted to hear everything.
they could just
Every-
have at it.
It's the same thing with like city council. You can get the
Yep.
recording
Yep.
anywhere.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
We're on there.
And so it has to include like who was actually here, who made the motions, how did you all vote? And then a reference to any document discussed at the meeting. So like we have a summary packet for the training. And then the minutes themselves, a reasonable time after the meeting. That's why we do it the next month. But the recordings, it's so easy now. I mean, this partly was written before we had the Zoom. We just take the link and post it online, where it used to be, like you had the actual camera recording everybody. That would take a lot longer to get published.
We have tapes.
Tapes. Yes, we do have tapes.
So you have to archive board stuff forever,
Mhm.
forever.
Forever.
That's
the option.
forever.
keep our
Yeah.
pictures forever?
Those are- Yes, your picture will forever live. This PowerPoint
You know what?
presentation.
Really?
Actually, do a search on yourself sometime and you will see that our pictures come up because of the school board. stuff.
Yes.
That horrid picture. Was out there on the internet.
Well, you know what? That picture. So yes, the board meeting minutes,
you were
public,
gonna
will have to be kept for forever. So your work here will be memorialized into perpetuity.
Then you would have the one from the very first one.
So we,
From
that was the
1960.
summer project that we almost got done. One of our, I did a whole, so we have a whole half wall of 4 minutes. It goes back to the 1940s.
I twitch,
And
seriously.
so that would be the, and it recorded, you have a recording?
Well,
of it?
we, whatever,
until- and
whatever
when-
documents we're able to.
To
bring.
start.
Yeah, but you
recording.
can't read half. of it.
That night.
Back in the day.
They did typewriter.
Yeah.
He loves that politically correct letter.
Right, no, we'll have to go through that.
Executive session minutes, we are required to keep minutes on those as well, but, it has a less, it's less accessible to the public. So public comment. So that just because you have a public meeting does not mean you have to take public comment. So there have been some boards that have said, you know what, the public comment is just getting too out of control. If you want to give public comment, the only way we are going to accept it is through written public comment. You can write it, you will submit it to the board secretary, and he or she will make sure we have it in our packet. During the course of our meeting, we'll say, we got some public comment about the letters, anything else? Okay, we're done.
Oh, nice.
And it's because some have become so disruptive. It's not a public
No
meeting.
kidding.
It's not the public's meeting. It is your meeting to do business in public. So just like you wouldn't go to the Nike board meeting and demand to be heard because they're doing business at the Nike board meeting. Just because you are elected and a public entity doesn't mean that you have to let everybody chime in whenever they want.
And do we have to make a motion for that to happen, or is it just something that we will decide as a meetings?
You would have to be, you have to notify people how they can give comment.
Right.
So if you decided that we don't want to have public meeting anymore, or if there's something ahead of time, you would have to say, at this meeting, we will not be taking verbal public comment. You must submit it in writing.
Could you do it that you would have to be submitted in verbal and then petition to come say it in front?
No, you could just say you're not going to get to talk in front of us.
Like she said, it would, like, the person would take it in the packet. We just read it.
Sometimes we want to listen, some, like those people that came in and on that, for the bond, that nice little lady that came in here, I keep on calling her old, she's not that old. That lady that
Don't
came
even
in here
remember
for she came in and talked about that she would really want to be part of the,
Oh,
she was in school here, she from
Mm.
Brooks, and she got really
Yes.
into it and things
Yeah.
like that and stuff, so that's kind of stuff I like to
Yeah.
listen to. I don't like, I don't know what's happened to Lenville, but I rest his soul if he's okay, I hope he's okay, but like guys like that would be perfect for them, because I doubt they could put word to pen very well, so
We have to have that in an announcement. The next
Yeah.
meeting will be no public.
We've been pretty safe so far, like
Yeah.
we leave it to 3 minutes, and I
Yeah.
think that it's a really good way for the public to feel like that we're listening, and which we are and stuff. So I think what we have right now is perfect for
Yeah.
our school. 3 minutes seems
we
fine.
get a lot of people coming in. so.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, probably find a seat.
personally, I feel like we've done a pretty good job considering starting from COVID when we went online and people were acting nuts. I mean, they just did that they had a Zoom thing that happened with the governor.
Yeah.
It just happened that I had to put out some stuff on. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, people get in there and act nutty.
And so then there's, when you're permitting public testimony, it can happen by telephone, electronically, in person. So, and as Anna said, didn't, it's in the slide, but for your board, they've decided that public comment is 3 minutes at a time. So, and then if there's ever anybody here, there's a little statement that's read, and during public comment, they can't speak disparagingly about an employee. It's strictly about something not related to personnel issues.
And
Yeah.
one thing you do want to say is like, you don't want to really engage in it. You just want to say, we hear you, thank you, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to like back and forth or anything.
Yeah, so they make public comment and then you don't respond to comments. It's not a two-way conversation. It's like, thanks for coming
Oh.
tonight. We appreciate you. And next. And sometimes it's gonna feel really awkward. Well, they posed a question.
And then they look at you like,
Look-
you're waiting.
And it is uncomfortable, and I think it's safe for us to say, you know, basically, it's not a two-way conversation. We're hearing you and thank you, and we'll address it.
Just real quick, I was a while back when we had, it was about teaching about the condoms or some damn thing. And we had a lot of folks from Sacred Heart, a lot of them come in here. And I wasn't on the board, I was just here for one, but they were able to, no, I want to give my minutes to Lowell. And then everybody kind of piled in there. And so somebody's up there speaking for 15, 20 minutes and things there. That is something that we can control, yes? That we can-
If you have an issue that you know is gonna be controversial or lead to something like that, you can say, individuals have 3 minutes. Groups have a total of 5. If someone has already said something that you were going to say, unless you have brand new content or perspective, please consider not giving your public testimony. But yeah, you don't have to allow the gifting of minutes. Yeah.
so, okay.
And then the other piece is that what I try to do is if at times when we had one particular person who would come and, make public comment and it would not necessarily be accurate, or maybe I felt like there's something that could be elaborated on. Sometimes board members would bring up a topic during board focus that would lead me into that conversation, or I would try to weave it into my board report. So if there's something that is, really you're wondering about, like, we will figure it out how to address it. And or during board topic, you could say, hey, could you, Dandy, come back and prepare something for us at our next board meeting? And then it doesn't become the two-way conversation. So if there happened to be a public meeting violation, so if some person believes that the governing body has violated public meeting laws, they have 2 options. They can file a grievance. And so they would file a complaint under policy KL, which is in this supplemental packet that I gave you, or they could file a lawsuit. And there have, not here at this board, but there have been other boards where board members have filed a grievance against each other, accusing them of violating the public meeting and filing complaints with the ethics committee and all of that. So want to avoid all of that kind of, that's not very cohesive team building.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you have any questions about this initial training?
Nope.
Okay, so don't forget, if you haven't done your child abuse inventory reporting,
They're right there.
I have it done.
I did it.
I got 100%.
What do you feel like?
Oh, okay, I'm pretty
She
sure I
did,
did mine.
I think it's just Jenny and Leah that have done it.
Yeah.
Oh, I went all the way to find this, so I could get into my email again. Get to
Where did
the
you
meeting.
find it?
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Okay, go on.
No, that's how you found it.
What are the kids?
Oh, like, what is this junk here? So the last thing that we have tonight, and I know it's not, that this is just could be a work, a work topic, and we can address it more formally at the next meeting, but you do need to set your goals. Because then I set my goals based on your goals. And so I included in your board packet, it's like the last 3 pages of your board packet, I think it is a copy of the 12 standards that we asked boards to follow. And with that, I include what your board focus and goals were last year. So if you look at the board focus and goals for last year, you guys decided that you wanted to focus on standard 2, community engagement, which made sense because it was all about bond stuff and keeping people informed. And then also, excuse me, standard 10, innovation, creativity. And sorry, I have a frog in my throat now. So then you have the goals that you created and that you worked towards. And then on the back of that page were the goals then that I had based on what you were trying to do.
Did we chat about this in this, we were just gonna do?
No, it feels like what?
Like we talked about
Yes.
this already.
So, I just need to know what you want to focus on for next year. So what I could, or for this year. So what I could do is I could generate another email tomorrow that asks, for your opinion. And if you respond just to me, then I can combine all of that and put it into a document and share it with you at your next board meeting that then you could tease out. Or based on what you're saying, I could have some rough goals for you to look at.
Yes.
Let's do that.
And we're basing them off of these standards, correct?
Those standards in relation to the strategic plan as well.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
really believe that the reason we're having such success is that we're all moving in the same
Aligned,
direction.
yeah.
Like your focus might be more on like a community engagement, like the 30,000-foot level.
Yeah.
But really it drills down into then when the rubber meets the road, like if you're engaging your community about the importance of attendance, the parents are sending their kids to school. Hopefully.
Yes.
So when I look at this, like I look at standard 1, 2, 3, 4, like
Yeah.
I looked at standard 12 and I'm thinking budgeting and financial accountability, especially with what you said about
Okay.
becoming out.
There.
I'm gonna tell you now that I think that's gonna be a huge one.
It's gonna be a huge one.
So I think that
Right off the bat.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
I think if there was, if I'm looking at this, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
that's what
That's
I'm
what
gonna
you need.
focus
Yeah.
on, especially for this year.
Yeah.
Especially finishing the projects with the bond, and then, as I
I
said.
think
what
that's such a
you
big
heard.
problem too, or such a big thing within the community is
Yeah.
accountability and budgeting.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
Any other particular one that is standing out to you?
I think community engagement always is like a top one for me, but that's because I feel like it's so connected to everything
Mhm.
that's happening here and us trying to communicate to
Mhm.
everyone and get that information going about like the budget and the financial situation stuff. And so I see that really correlated together, but if someone else feels differently, let me know. I feel like the accountability, the budgeting and community engagement to me are some of the top priorities.
Yeah.
I like number 2 as well.
And then I would tell you that I mean, using data for continuous improvement and accountability is also another one, because
Mhm.
it's good to be able to see, okay, the students last year were here. How much have they really improved in math,
Yeah.
reading and writing?
Oh.
And that is like, I mean, to be able to measure that is, then you can say, look at what our teachers are doing. They are engaged. They are doing what they said they're doing. So I think that, I mean, those would be my top 3, I guess.
I agree with you, because especially the data that we've been building on for all of the previous years, even just like doing the surveys for ourselves for the superintendent and
Mhm.
building up on that data the entire time, and then just watching, just like we're talking about with like, our English as a second language students, and seeing the progress is just, you can't beat that.
No, I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah,
That's my
that's
favorite
just-
part.
It gives you everything you need. So,
Kind of fits all our work to
yeah,
what it's
so
supposed to be doing.
I'm happy with those ones. What do you guys think? Do we need?
We have 3 or 4.
You can have 3 or 4.
Well, we have 3 now, right?
You can have 4.
Did you say accountability? Cause I like that one.
I was just gonna say, I like accountability.
Yeah, that's the one I
I think everybody needs to learn that.
Especially with the attendance thing.
Yeah, I would say I loved the budgeting and financial accountability.
100% on that.
We need the accountability, and then, like Maria said, on the data,
The data.
that's
And
a
the
big,
and the
and
community.
then the community engagement for
Kids are
me.
too soft.
So,
So 2, 4, 5, and 12.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. Yep.
okay. Right. Excellent. All right, so I will put those together and wordsmith some goals around that. I think it fits in line really well with all of the things that your administrators are charged with doing and how it's going down into the schools. And I think the other pieces I'm really glad you said about the budget, because like, here's the thing. The first thing that everybody starts doing is packing positions. So we're gonna cut all the TOSAs, which then destroy your. So
Right.
Everything.
we're
we've been working on.
gonna cut the assistant principals, which then kills your discipline and your attendance. Like, we're gonna have to be a little bit more creative if we don't just wanna cut ourselves off at the knees.
You've done an excellent job of supporting and staffing, like truly.
Getting the money.
Like you really have. Like, I don't think they really understand how well of a job you do in actually having that resource for them.
Yeah,
So
that worked
kudos-
forever.
Kudos to you.
That worked forever?
Yeah.
Forever.
Nope. What was that?
Yeah.
3 years.
Don't count. It's my retirement year. I mean, I just want to make sure, like, I feel confident about this coming year, like I said, but I'm really worried about the year after. And as I'm thinking about, like, we made some cuts for this year. We cut just over $1 million. And I mean, yeah, it was sad to see a couple of the things go that I wish we would have kept, but we had systems in place to still be able to sustain what we're doing. We're gonna get to the point now where that's not gonna be true. And so,
And that's when we're gonna have to.
yeah, we'll have to be more creative.
But I think that's a good point to bring up at our October meeting.
Mhm.
We need the city to
Yeah.
join in this effort and do things on their end.
And not make us spend $100,000 stupid sidewalks.
That's exactly.
That's what I mean
Yeah.
about like teamwork and working together closely.
Mhm.
That's what I think to me is the most upsetting situation here, is that we're not getting that support from each other here that we need to have, both with the city and the school district. And I was really hoping that with this new change of stuff, that maybe we would fall back into a pattern of being able to really support each other and encourage and be there, for exactly these kinds of situations where nobody has $100,000 laying around,
Right now.
something like that. I mean, like, we have to fight for the positions in our kids right now for every single penny. And so when you add like bureaucracy that's crazy on top of it like that, that's really frustrating for parents and community members.
And we need to deliver on that bond promise. Like, we need to be able to show them that list and go, did it?
Right.
Did it?
Like, this is
Yeah.
the shot.
Mm-hmm.
How far can we go out is our boundary for, I know we can't advertise that we have room in our schools, but, all that, they're not stopping building in Woodward. And
No,
we know
We
that that's.
get a lot of kids from Woodburn. So
But I want the little ones.
the problem with trying to get the little ones is that there's no we have latchkey, but it doesn't go long enough because it only goes till 4:30. And parents work till 5. By the time they get here, it's 5:30.
And Woodburn offers that kind of stuff.
They have more private daycare, and the kids can ride the bus to where they live, and there's sisters or, siblings that can take care of them. So, we did reopen 11th grade. I talked to Andrew today, and they decided that they could take, another 10 kids. So, because we had closed 11th and 12th grade, and we, continued to get people trying to come in for 11th grade specifically. And so I said, okay, and do you think you can handle it, Andrew? Can you, yeah, we can do it.
So that would put them to over 3?
They are right now are at 303.
So they'd go to 313.
Yeah. I think that, for the littles, for us to grow that elementary school, we have to have housing.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to say.
Yeah.
Hard thing to do, I should say.
Yeah.
Easy to say.
And the city right now is actually out of compliance with state law because they don't have enough, potentially land that could be developed within the urban growth boundary, so they're gonna have to extend the urban. It's state law, you have to have. And so that's one thing that Rick has pointed out, so. Maybe if they open up the urban growth boundary and they get some more land in there, then we will get some housing and go from there.
But I'm gonna guess it's also has to do with the infrastructure of like their wastewater and all that stuff and.
They acted like it was totally fine. Cause I brought it up at the last meeting and he was just like, oh, it's good. We made some improvements. I'm thinking, I don't know what you're talking about, sir, because I know that is not true. That.
Once
But
again,
there's those apartments going in here.
Yep.
I don't know how many units are there. There's some of the apartments above the new little, kind of like a looks like a little shopping complex right next to City Hall.
on Fourth Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there, right by the road.
Well, but I'll tell you that right behind me.
Yeah.
This
Like you
new duplex ginormous thing is going up.
2
so
stories, so they're
guaranteed
looking in
that
our
there should be
yards.
Oh, wow. Two big families.
Yeah.
They
Yes, it's
they tore down the houses that were there and just put in.
It was one house and they put in a single story house and now they're putting in a duplex. that-
Duplex. Like,
I would
ginormous.
love to know where all the
Wow.
cars are gonna go though, because you know,
they're
I
on the street.
mean,
They don't have to provide
What
parking.
street is this?
it's I'm on Ivy and Third. And so it's like right next.
And you don't have
to-
any sidewalks, so it's.
We have, but that's what I'm saying, like, where are they gonna park those cars? I had 2 kids home this summer, there was 4 cars at my house.
Hmm.
That's just my house.
Right.
Yeah.
That's. yeah.
How many cars do you think are gonna be
In
right
there.
over, like, that's what I'm saying, like, there is no sustainable infrastructure in place for what they're doing. And they're not thinking it out, not to mention the water situation is just horrid. So I don't know what's been happening, but like, my water tastes terrible. The water over at the Sawfield, they can barely get any. The water pressure is
Pressure's
completely
terrible.
looked
Yeah,
down.
wow.
It's been going on literally for weeks. Every time it's brought up, it's completely like
Everything's
not
fine.
that, and that's what I'm saying. So like, even the tiny moment that I was like, hey, what's happening with the, you know, infrastructure on our utility stuff, you know? And it was just like, all right, fine.
The new fire? No, I guess they would have to worry about that, do they?
Oh,
That
with
new
the-
fire thing out there.
It actually looks great.
It does,
Only
don't it?
because they're not,
But they're not,
because they're not doing it, I'm sure. It's
but they're not
quiet.
hooked up to the city.
No, they're,
That's Woodford.
again, that's why,
That's Woodburn, that's Woodburn District?
yes, dude, that's why we pat, yes, and that's why I'm
No, I
saying,
know
but
that.
look how they're
didn't
doing
know it
such a
was
great
Woodward
job.
I thought that Woodburn District was coming into Jervis to help us.
Oh, yeah.
You need somebody to come in and help
Some
City
up,
Hall
like
get
on the
it
back road that
going,
goes
like,
towards Woodburn.
There's
Like,
just one property separating the school district, or the Woodburn from Jervis now.
I thought it was down to the Parr Road.
it is.
It
It
is,
goes all the way to Parr Road,
Yeah.
right? Our district.
no, there's,
Woodburn goes to, does it stop at Parr Road or come all the way down to,
I think
to
portions of it come down to,
Jensen Road?
yeah.
To Jensen Road there.
Right
That's,
there, yeah.
that's where we stop, at Jensen Road.
I'm thinking probably at this.
Cause I know there's.
But I don't know. So I didn't say it was
that field.
but how do you
There's
think
other
we're gonna be able to continually, how can we sustain this situation? It can't sustain, we
No.
can't sustain it is what I'm saying, like, we will get like assimilated in some way or something, but they're just not making the right
No.
moves or strides or, I mean, I see it as a fiasco, and so it's like, I don't really see a way out of this debacle right now, and I guess that's maybe where I am as a
Nice
community
lady.
person.
Once we lost that Susie lady, she just passed away. And
Yeah.
once we lost her, everything just went from there. I mean,
Because
she was so organized. very
Because
good.
the real city manager is the one who's really managing the city
Right.
and taking care of stuff, and we haven't had anybody at the helm for how many years now? Literally,
Yeah, like
5, I think,
Yeah.
5
Wow.
years. Like, I think it's been at least that long.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's enough time to show
yeah.
the
what's happening. It's
Mhm.
enough time to really be really concerned.
Mhm.
I am very concerned.
Is there a good turnout to the meetings, like when they have them? of
Over there was over.
People vocalizing their concerns and,
Oh, honey, they do that all the time. It's like, it's not that they aren't concerned. It's like, again, it's having somebody who actually knows what they're doing. It doesn't, like, you can come and tell me all kinds of things that are wrong or issues that you have. But if I don't have the experience or the know-how or any of the, things to change those circumstances, then that's not what you have to have those mechanisms in
Right.
place. And that's what we don't have, is what I'm saying. So I'm not quite sure
Hmm.
what's gonna happen to this city. Thank God the school district is on its own, but that I do believe will continue, but I don't know that our city will continue to be Jervis. I don't think so. I don't think we have the financial means. I don't think that we have any forward thinking. I don't think that anybody's in place in a position there that can stop the chaos.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, but that's just my opinion as a community member who's
Yeah,
lived here 25 years. So,
They're very vocal on Facebook.
yeah. But it's not even like, I don't even care about any of that stuff anymore. I just want to see the progress, and there is no progress. Like, there's no good decision making happening. And so I just almost, I don't know what else to do. I've already said the things that I need to say to people, to the people in positions that, are listening. I don't believe that they have the capability to make the good changes that need to happen. Nor do I think they want to, and I think that's probably part of the problem.
They seem very comfortable. Just that one meeting that I went,
And that wasn't even anything, that was pretty good.
just even the attire, I was just kind of like, wow, we're really comfortable here. Oh,
And
there is.
They're all new. The whole council is new.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
every
they're-
single one of them is
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
And even the mayor, is, I don't know that he's ever held a position before.
No.
His wife had held one in the city council position
Right.
prior to,
100%.
but
Yeah, so everybody's brand spanking.
But again, it's like, I don't even, if you just had a good city manager, oh my God, half the rest of it, the rest of it can actually run fine.
I think those are hard to find. I mean, a good city manager and things like that, right? That we could afford.
No, I think I think what we pay our city manager here is very comparable to what they're paid elsewhere. It was like 100.
You want to come into a hot mess?
Not now, but what, I mean, like,
136,
when you're, is that what it is? 130, I mean, like,
number
130.
136, and that was.
Yeah, no, we do pay, absolutely, yeah,
Like,
like
you-
within
you-
reason. The
that's
thing is
reasonable.
that it's people hiring, you actually have to go out and
Find somebody.
find somebody.
Yeah. And to find somebody to be able to distinguish what is a good manager and what is not. And I don't know if you have.
You got 2,800 people, right?
So we have,
In Jervis
Yeah.
or so around, right? Out of 2,800 people, you're asking, I don't know how many of those could actually be city council members or people in positions that have experience in, I don't know, budget, policy, whatever it might be, and who are retired and have the time to do that for positions that are non-paid. Like, out of that, knowing too, right, like what the educational background might be and experience of these folks. Think about that. Where is that gonna bring you? Like, you're coming down to a like very small percentage of people that actually would be able to truly excel in those positions. So that's part of the problem. I mean, unfortunately, and that's what makes me sad, because we don't have enough people who actually want to spend the time. We all have complaints and we all, but complaining doesn't fix it. We all have to be part of the solution, and that's what we don't have.
they should have ran for city council.
But I'm already here.
Here we don't, there was consent. Yay.
Okay.